Hello, beautiful angels. It is Olivia Grace, and welcome back to the Master Manifestors channel. And I am talking about how I manifested a house in honestly just a few days. And I'm going to be telling you guys exactly what I did, and everything else that I feel like helped me manifest this so quickly, and without lifting a finger. And it's so crazy because this probably is one of my biggest manifestations. I've manifested, this apartment. I've manifested tons of other living situations and things, but my boyfriend is actually buying a house. And let me just get into the story of what I did. But if you guys are new to my channel, definitely subscribe and like if you're into manifestation. I'm teaching you guys all about releasing fear, releasing doubt, releasing limitation and blocks, and really up-leveling to the best version of yourself. So if any of that is interesting to you, definitely subscribe. Definitely come hop over to my group if you're catching this on YouTube. And if you're in my group, catch this on YouTube and subscribe. So first, you guys, I want to start with a quote where Neville actually talks about not lifting a finger to make it so. Hey, Sylvia. And this is just perfect. So he says, I know beyond all doubt that there is nothing for man to do but to change his own concept of himself to assume greatness and sustain this assumption. If we walk as though we were already the ideal we serve, we will rise to the level of our assumption and find a world in harmony with our assumption. We will not have to lift a finger to make it so, for it is already so. It was already so. It was always so. Okay. So that is so deep, you guys, but let me get into the story because the story is going to completely reflect that. Okay. Now, my boyfriend and I have been thinking of getting a house for maybe a year or so. Last year we had to re-sign our lease, or maybe the year before, I don't know. But basically our lease is going to be up this year in December. And just with the financial position we were in and just with other things, we had just decided to just go ahead and stay here another year. So I had done I would do sat scenes every now and then, back when we were actively looking to get a house or whatever. And I would do a sat scene, but once we decided we were just going to stay here, I was like, that's fine. We really love the apartment that we're in, which I think also helped me manifest this so quickly because I wasn't in need of it. And need, I had this thought come to me. Well, really, I was talking with my guides this morning and they were telling me that need is basically the vibration of love and fear at the same time. It's when you're needing your desire, you want it so much, but there's also a ton of fear attached to the desire. And that fear takes up just a bunch of your energy. So anyways, so we had decided, we're going to stay here. So one day I'm driving around, I'm looking at houses and just really thought about why not, why not us have a house? Why not? Who's to say? I just really have just been realizing how powerful we are, you guys. We are so powerful. And so I really felt in the moment of, looking at the homes and thinking, well, how is that, we're not really in a position. I was like, that's kind of a limitation. I could just give attention to that and just, see what happens. So, and I started to think, okay, what if, I was manifesting that? What would it be like for, us to have a home? What would it be like for us to be homeowners? And I started thinking it, and immediately the doubt came in. Okay. The doubt came in well, how is that going to happen? You already know that, you guys don't have the money saved up. You guys, for me, I do not have the requirements. I just changed jobs, to do my business and everything. I don't have the requirements to get a house right now. So there was just all these obstacles and all these things that came into my mind. And, y'all know me. At this point in the story is when most people give up, when they say, well, it's just not meant for me, or it's not the time, or Mercury's in retrograde, or whatever the fuck else, right? But that is the point where I say, fuck that. It doesn't matter, because God is more powerful than any of these obstacles, any of these things that seems it can't happen. God is more powerful than that, right? So I thought of that and I was like, no, law of assumption. Like, I'm going to assume that we do have a house. I'm going to assume that we are homeowners. And I just started to play with the idea, like, we're homeowners, like we're already homeowners. We already have a house, right? So that night I went home and I did a sat scene that night. And this is the same sat scene. Ever since I created a sat scene for a house, I've been doing either one of two, and I'll tell you both of them now. So the first one that I did, because I wanted my house to be a certain way, right? And y'all know with this market, because my boyfriend, like back when we were first looking for a house, he had gotten approved for like a loan for like $250,000. And, you know, in this market, you guys, that's not really getting you shit. Like when I was looking at houses, it was like, you want a crack house? Do you? And that was like 300,000. Like they were like starting at 300, and it was just such like just not desirable things that I wanted. And I know like it's our first house, but I was like, I still want what I want. So in my sat scene, I encompassed the things that I wanted in my house. One thing I wanted was upstairs and downstairs. And what I was seeing in, you know, a lot of the picture or the houses that I was looking up, what I was seeing was a lot of like 1-story houses or whatever. Or, you know, if you, like I said, if you wanted something like even a little bit bigger than that, it was like 354. But I didn't care because I was like, that's what I want. So what I created for that, and I wanted the upstairs to be able to like look over. You guys know how it's like where it's like really like the living room, you can see up into like the banister and like upstairs. So what I pictured was me being downstairs and my boyfriend being upstairs, and me like looking up at him and being like, oh my God, like, can you believe it? We really like manifested ourselves into this house. And so that was the first scene. And these scenes, you guys, sat scenes, if I have a video, I don't know if I made a video specifically on there. I made a TikTok about it, but if I do, I'll put it in the descriptions because I'm not going to get into detail about sat scenes right now. But that clip was enough because that clip, it implied that not only were we in the house, not only did it have upstairs and downstairs, but that it was ours and that we were owners of the house, right? So that was the scene that was one of the scenes that I would do. And when I do it, like when you have a good scene, you guys, you should feel it in your heart. Like you should feel it, like it feels good, right? Now, the other scene that I would do, this was actually the first scene that I had, was I wanted a balcony. Now, you guys, I have wanted a balcony like since I first got an apartment, and I have never gotten the balcony. This apartment that we have, we were going to get a smaller, like 1-bedroom, and it had a balcony, but we ended up getting the bigger one, and it has a really big porch, but no balcony. So for our house, I was like dead set because I'm like, I'm creating reality. Like I can have what I want, and I want a balcony. Now, when you get into houses that have balconies, now you're in a whole nother price bracket, you know, like just looking at like the houses that I would be seeing with balconies were all like pretty much like mansions and like big, huge houses or whatever. And we, you know, it's just him and me. Like we don't even have kids or anything. We don't even have pets. Like we don't need something like huge like that. But I definitely wanted my balcony because I was, you know, I love being outside. So the other scene that I did to incorporate my balcony was me getting up out of the bed and walking over like a few feet and opening the door and opening and like walking onto my balcony. Sometimes I would extend the scene to like coming back in and going into the bathroom and looking in the mirror and, you know, whatever. But that was the main thing, was me getting up out of my bed and walking over to the door and opening the door and walking out into the balcony. So if I know that if I'm getting up out of my bed and I'm only walking a couple of steps and opening the door, well, then I must have a balcony. I must have a door in my room that leads me outside, right? So that was my scenes. And like I said, previously when we had been trying to manifest a house before, or when I was manifesting, when we were trying to get one before, I would do this every now and again because I wasn't really pressed about it. We still had a lot of time left on our lease here, so I wasn't worried about it. But that night when I decided, when I really stepped into the assumption of we're homeowners now, right? I went home and did the scene. I did the scene of like me, you know, being downstairs and him being upstairs. And you guys, when I tell you, I felt it so real. Like when you're doing your scene, you want to basically transport your consciousness there. It's like, it's as if you're transporting your consciousness into that time, because all of these times are existing simultaneously. That's what Neville was saying in the quote, where he says, we will not have to lift a finger to make it so, for it is already so. It was always so. It was always so. It's always, creation is finished, right? So what we're wanting, these things, they're already in existence, and it's just about us putting ourselves there. So anyways, I had done that, and I could feel 100% difference. Sorry, you guys. Let me turn this off. I had basically, sorry, you guys. But yes, I felt it so real, you guys. Like, I felt like, there's another quote where Neville says, like, when you properly like impress your subconscious, you will, like, when you open your eyes, you'll receive a shock. Like, you'll feel like you were literally there. And I experienced that, of feeling like I literally just transported back and forth between dimensions, right? So I was like, wow. And I literally, like, earlier I had been watching a video, and she was talking about preparing for what you want. Prepare for what you're, manifesting. And I was like, wow, like, I feel like a homeowner. I don't feel like I'm creating it. I feel like it's done and that's real. So what should I do now? And I was like, oh, well, let me start looking into like furniture. We're gonna have to like furnish this place or whatever, right? And this is all before anything has happened, okay? So fast forward like 2 or 3 days. It might have been 2 days, you guys. We went to Florida. And I'm like in the kitchen, we're at my parents' house, and my boyfriend is talking to my mom, and I'm like making breakfast in the kitchen. And him and my mom are talking, and he goes like, they're looking at how they're talking about houses, and then they're looking at a house. And my mom is like, oh, that's a really nice house. And he's telling me, oh, wait, before I keep going, I want to circle back to when I was driving and I decided to manifest it. Because when I had all the doubt come up, right? When I was like, well, how is that going to happen? We don't have this. We don't have that. I was like, no, I went into my assumption. Yes, we can do this. I can manifest this. God is powerful. And I literally said to myself, I was like, well, my boyfriend, he buys and sells furniture. So I was like, I mean, he has a lot of people that are into real estate and that are into, like all kinds of stuff. One of them could maybe like help us out or something like that, or something weird, something out of the ordinary could happen that could allow us to get into this house. This is what I literally thought. Okay, so now fast forward to we're in the kitchen, or I'm in the kitchen, and they're like sitting there talking. So my mom is like, wow, that's a really nice house. Now my mom is kind of like a little bit bougie, so I was like, if she's saying it's a nice house, that means it's a nice house. And, my boyfriend is over there, and he's telling me basically that one of his friends just posted it and it's for sale. And he basically just commented under there and was like, hey, like, how much is this? How much is this? And his friend told him, look, if you're interested, like, we can make sure, like, we can guarantee that you can get this house. Like, just go ahead and like do the application, do this, talk to this person, this and that, and let's like get you into this house. It was like that, you guys. And so it all starts unfolding. And that was the thing too. So when my mom said that, or they're talking about it or whatever, and my boyfriend starts talking to me about it, I was like, okay, that sounds cool, but does it have a balcony though? Because I'm like, that's what I want. That's how I know. I was not settling for what I did not want. I wasn't going to just get something just to get something. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't have a balcony. And I'm thinking in my head, I know it doesn't. And they're like, yeah, it does. And I was like, what? Like, in that moment, you guys, it really clicked for me. Like, holy shit, like, this is really happening. That was the moment for me that I knew, like, okay, God is really about to bless me with this, like, for real, like, in under like a few days. I just did that sat scene. And to be honest, you guys, I wasn't really surprised, because I like how real it felt in the scene. It felt true already. I was assuming that it was true. So it made sense to me that it was now unfolding this way. So they start going through the process and all of these things. And at first they tell us like, yeah, you're going to need like $5,000. And we're like, okay, like that's pretty doable. And then they're like, yeah, actually you're going to need like 8. And we're like, okay, like, all right. And then at the end of everything, they're like, yeah, you're going to need like 13. And we're like 13. And the thing is, everything is moving so quickly, you guys. Like, we're basically going to close within like the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. And this all just happened the beginning of this month in August. So we're going through the process, and they're like, yeah, we're going to need $13,000. And so my boyfriend, like, he's planning on like getting a loan or something like that. And we're basically trying to come up with a plan, like how to come up with this money and how we're going to be able to like get this house. And so fast, you know, and we don't really, I mean, neither of us has like a lot of friends. We definitely, you know, our family's not in a position to like, you know, lend us $13,000, you know? So, my boyfriend, I could see that he was like really discouraged, you know, like I could see that that really discouraged him because we kind of came to like an impasse, you know, like we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, we can't go rob a bank or anything. Like, we're like, where are we just going to pull $13,000 out from? But you guys, this is how I knew too, because I was so unbothered. I did not care, you guys. I'm telling you, I knew what I saw. I knew what I saw. I knew what I felt. I practice what I preach, and I believe in the stuff that I'm telling you guys. And I just didn't care. I said, if we need $13,000, then God is going to deliver us $13,000. And I don't know where, how, whatever when it's going to happen, but I know that it's going to happen. And you guys, I'm telling you, my faith did not sway at all. The only time I felt down or like sad was because just looking at my boyfriend, because he was so excited and then he got really discouraged. But that was the only thing that made me sad, was seeing him down. Like, I was knowing the whole time. And I really be wishing like that everybody could have the faith that I have in God, because you guys, there's no need to worry. And another thing is too, is that I've experienced like anytime I'm manifesting something like bigger or something like that, there is always like this like darkness before the dawn. There is always this thing that happens. Like when I manifested my car, that's actually something I need to tell you guys, because I manifested a new car a few months ago. But it's always, here's a big, like, seems like a big F you from the universe. Like, it's not going to happen. Here's a big obstacle you have no way around. Here's a thing that's going to trip you up. But it always works out. It always works out. So I was like, I could see it for what it was. I could see it for the illusion that it was. I was like, okay, this is the thing that's supposed to throw me off. This is the thing that's supposed to make me like, oh, you know, it's not going to happen and make me lose my faith. But I did not. I really did not. Like, I already seen it. I already felt it. It was already mine. So I persisted through that. And I just kept, literally one day, like, I think it was the next day. That's right. Because the night that we found out we needed $13,000, we were actually like having like a little celebratory night. I had made us dinner. We were having drinks, and he had gotten on the phone. And I just remember I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I was just seeing his face like drop and drop and drop. And I was just like, something's going wrong. Like, and I just knew it. And, you know, but I just, like I said, I didn't care. So I woke up the next morning and I just felt so good, y'all. I felt so good. I was like, ooh, I feel so good. And then something occurred to me. I was like, wait, I was like, there's a reason I shouldn't be feeling this good. And I was like, oh, the house, that's right. They need $13,000. Like, how's that going to happen? And I just, I don't know. Like, I just trusted it. And something happened, and I'm having like a complete brain fart right now. Oh, right. I was talking with my guides, and I was praying, and I was just knowing. I wasn't even praying like, oh, please give us the house, or please let something happen, or please a miracle. I wasn't even asking for anything, you guys. I was literally praying in appreciation, because I knew it was done. I knew it was done. I don't know if you guys ever heard the song Praise Him in Advance by Marvin Sapp. That is like a jam. It's a gospel song, but y'all, it's talking about real faith, praising God in advance. That's what manifesting really is. You know, praising God in advance for what's already yours, what's already coming, without the proof, without it in front of your face, without the 3D confirmation, but knowing that this is what I want, this is what I'm creating, and I have this power inside of me, I have this God inside of me, and it's a done deal, period. Like, that's going to get it for you every time. So I literally was in tears of joy, you guys, in my prayer, because I knew the house was ours. I was so grateful. Like, wow, God really just delivered this blessing to me. I had no concern about what this money was going to do or how he was going to do it or anything like that, right? But of course, you know, my boyfriend, he's like stressing out. So we're doing what we can. We're just like, I'm trying to apply for loans. We're trying to like talk to family, see what's up, like whatever. And like nothing is really working out. So he's talking with his friend. His friend is the one that is selling the house, and talking with his friend, and it's just like, look, like we don't have $13,000. Like, we don't know what we're going to do. And, his friend just basically keeps telling him like, dude, it's going to work out. Just keep doing the things, keep doing the steps, keep whatever. And what ends up happening is that basically his friend just lets him know, like, look, you're going to be straight. Like, he keeps telling him that. And my boyfriend's like, okay, but what do you mean by that though? Like, what are you trying to tell me? And his friend is basically like, well, whatever you can't get up, I'm going to give you the rest to make sure. Like, you guys, if you want this house, and this is what they told us in the beginning, if you want this house, it's yours. Like, all you need to do is go through the process of whatever. Anything else we're going to take care of is yours. Like, and so that was that. So basically at this point, like I said, we close in like a few weeks. We just ended up breaking our lease today at the apartment that we're in. And by actually to the T, this day next month will be our move-in date into our new house. So I just intend that this helped you guys. And really, you guys, number one, let me address something really quick, because I know how y'all be in the comments. So sometimes, because I honestly get the most beautiful, wonderful comments always. But some of you guys, like, you're like, oh, well, I don't have a boyfriend that's going to get a house for me, or, oh, whatever. And you guys, the how is not, it's not what's important. Okay. Because like the SP video that I made, people are like, oh, well, you did this, and oh, well, what about this, and what about that? It's like, you're not getting the point. The point is that God has infinite ways to bless you. God has infinite ways to bless you. We don't even know everything that a human can know. We damn sure don't know everything that God can know. So as soon as and I was reading a post by Edward Art Supplies. I don't know if you guys are like deep into the Neville community, then y'all know who he is. But he was talking about when you tell yourself no, when you have a desire and you tell yourself no, you are saying no to God. You are saying, oh, well, this is too big for God. There is nothing too big for God, you guys. And I'm talking crazy, impossible things, and that's something else too. I think that helped me is that when it came to manifesting a house, I never saw it as like a huge deal, because I just figured, I look around and I'm like, I mean, there plenty of people have houses, you know what I mean? Everybody pretty much has a house. Like, not everybody, but a lot of people have houses. I just didn't see it as something that was so like difficult to get, but just really like, God can do miraculous things. God's creating universes, galaxies, like things like that. These small things that we want, it's nothing to God. It may be a big deal to us because we always have our reasons. I definitely had my reasons the first moment that I started to doubt myself and say, well, I can't do that. Well, here's the reason I can't, and here's the reason I can't, and here's the reason I can't. And I had to stop myself dead in my tracks and ask myself, okay, do I believe in that fear, or do I believe in God? And I believe in God. And y'all, let me tell you, like, ever since I have been trading my fear for faith, everything works out. Every single thing works out, like, instantly, like instantly. So, and all it took, you guys, really was that one sat scene of just knowing it was real, assuming it. On that drive, I could have just decided like, yeah, that's not going to happen. We'll just stay here for another year or two. Even like our rent was going up here, and y'all, we're in Atlanta. So the rent is like $1,700 for a 1-bedroom, and with it going up, it's going to be like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom. That's kind of crazy, but even when that came up, when my boyfriend told me that, I was like, no, we're not going to be paying that. Like, our rent's going to go down, or, it's going to stay the same or something, but it's not going to go up like that, and our mortgage is cheaper than what our rent is now, so just having faith, you guys, in whatever, because I feel like this definitely can obviously help you manifest a house, but it just putting that faith to everything, you guys, like putting that faith to everything, brazen impudence, looking dead in the opposition, dead in the face of opposition, dead in the face of the reason it can't happen, and still claiming and assuming your wish fulfilled, I don't know, I intend that this really resonates with you guys, and that this helps you create some amazing things. And that is my intention with this channel, is to really, I want you guys to create amazing things. And I'm seeing, you guys, it's bigger than the things. It's bigger than creating the thing. It's really getting to know God. It's really getting to know how, like, the magnificence that is you, the magnificence that created you and is animating you and working through you, and that there is nothing out of reach. And the more that you challenge that, the more that you look dead in the face of something that says no, or says it can't happen, or that it's impossible, and you persist and you assume it anyway, and it happens, is the more that you believe in yourself and give yourself more the power to heal and uplift not only yourself, but to heal and uplift others, you know. And that's really been my experience. So again, I intend that this helped you guys. I love you guys so much. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll have links in the bio. I'll have some helpful videos in the bio as well. Other than that, you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.